Yeah, the purpose of this video is to give you some debugging tips in case your stepper motor infrared remote circuit doesn't work. All right, because I'm going to start with, zoom in here. I'm going to call this the power supply board. Okay, this is the board that you use to power the motor because there's not enough current capability on the Arduino board to drive that stepper motor. All right, so this is the power supply board. This is the motor driver board. And this is the infrared remote sensor. Okay, so one of the things that's important is when you plug in this power supply board, you need to pay attention to what side of the rail the plus and the minus are on. Okay, so this shows up on both sides, plus and minus. So remember, the proto board is just a passive thing, so it's going to take on whatever voltage is plugged into it. All right, so the way I have this set up, the plus is on the red rail and the minus is on the blue rail, and that's fine. That's the normal way of doing it. But if I plug this in on the other side of the board facing the opposite direction, it's easy to get those reversed, where the plus would be on the blue rail and the minus would be on the red rail. So you just want to pay attention to that and make sure that you hook it up correctly. If the board's what drives it, all right, you connect it to the plus, you connect it to the minus, and choose whichever rail that happens to be. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Okay, the next thing is, let's talk about what you should see in terms of your remote. Okay, so if you run this code, you've loaded this code, and you want to try it, make sure it works. All right, what I do here is the buttons that are programmed are the plus button and the minus button, and the code I sent you also included the 1 button. All right, so I'm going to press the plus button on the volume plus. And what you should see happen is the infrared remote sensor lights up real quickly with 1 red flash, and then, I'm going to do it again because it stopped. And then while the motor is spinning, the lights on the motor driver board should also be flickering. All right, so if that's not happening, you need to check the wiring on that board, make sure you have the power wired correctly, and the order of these 4 wires coming out is important. Your motor will stall if you get these in a switched order. One of the ways you can tell that is if you touch the motor while it's running. I mean, it probably won't be running, that's why you're watching the video. But if you touch it, you can kind of tell there's some power to it, it's just not timed right, and so the thing won't spin. Okay, so those are some of the things you should see, and take a look at that. Let me know what you're seeing.